Hi there. Thank you so much for joining us for our video today. I'm actually going to talk about gardening. I've had so many people come to me and say, oh, I want to garden, but I don't know where to start. So I'm going to provide you with a few tips today that will really help you along that process. The first thing is really when you get ready to start your garden, it's a good idea if you're in a neighborhood and you're starting small, start with a few people in your neighborhood and you all can maybe plant 2 or 3 different things that you like, something in your yard, something in their yard that they can plant, but different items so that you all can share when your crop comes up and the harvest is ready. Another thing that you can do is if you're starting with seeds instead of plants, it's a really good idea to follow the guidelines as it relates to how far apart you should plant and also how deep you should plant your items. That's key, and that's something that we kind of learned the hard way, that it's really important to follow those rules. The third thing is that plant what's in season in your region, because depending on, just like here you see I'm in my garden, depending on where you are, what your soil is like, what your weather is like, there are certain things that do well and certain things that don't do well depending on what time of the year it is. So those are good things to really pay attention to also. You also want to pay attention to having a location that has ample sunlight. As you can see, it's the middle of the day here and the sun is kind of in and out, but for the most part this is a great area, and this is actually an add-on to our garden. We have several garden squares throughout our yard as we've added on each year, and we want to make sure that there's always enough sunlight. And as we hear, there's an airplane going by, so excuse the noise. We always want to make sure that there is enough sunlight to handle what you're growing in your crop for the year. The next thing you want to do is think about planting something different every year. So you don't want to always plant the same thing over and over again. You want to kind of try it to expand from year to year if you have enough space to do so. And even if you're planting small within your home, or you're in an apartment or a condo, you can still do so. Just simply go online and Google different options and resources for in-home planting or patio planting. So don't feel like if you don't have a large yard or a lot of space that has to limit you and your option as to whether you can garden or not. But you definitely want to make sure that you try something new every year. So this year in our second area of the garden, we actually did purple peppers, and I've never heard of them before and I've never had them before, but when I went to the place that we purchased our plants from for the season, we usually get organic over at Serenbe Farms right outside of Atlanta. But they had purple plants purple peppers for plants, and I said, hey, this is something great that we can try. So I went ahead and got those, and we're going to see how they turn out. I'll definitely let you know. Something else you want to do is plant something that you know will grow well and that you'll consume pretty quickly. So you don't want to plant a lot of things that you've never had before, or you're not sure if you're going to like or not, because you don't want to plant it and then not use it and it go bad, because since it's fresh, and especially if you're planting organic, it's only going to last for a certain amount of time. Another good thing for a tip is that when you do plant and your harvest comes in and it may be too much for you to consume at that time and you don't want it to go bad, is think about freezing or canning your items depending on what you're growing and what your harvest is. You can simply once again go online and check out, what's the best way to freeze this item, what's the best way to can this item, and we do that all the time. And then well into the fall and winter, we have items from the spring and summer to choose from that we can use, and we still have that fresh flavor and taste without necessarily having it growing in our garden right then. Another thing I want to say is just really have fun. Get your family involved, get your friends and your neighbors involved. We have our 2 little ones come out and get their fingers and their hands dirty, and they feel so good because when we come out here and we pick things, like we recently had cucumbers come in, we have strawberries coming in right now, but they pick those and they feel like, hey, this is something that I was a part of and I helped to plant this and watch it grow and water it, and it just really instills good values within them as it relates to going out, working hard, and having your harvest come in. The last thing that I want to talk about is composting. Now, some people aren't really excited about this like I am, but I love composting because it gives me an opportunity to, save trash that goes into the landfill and also feed my garden as well. And a funny story that we had with composting is that the first year that we did our garden, we actually had cantaloupe, but we didn't plant cantaloupe. But what happened was there were seeds that were in the compost from earlier in the year, and they actually grew cantaloupe, and they were really good, and we had a good time eating them, and they came back the next year again. So those are just some things that we want to leave you all with for today as we talk about gardening. And as always, make sure you stay connected with us via social media and on our website. Our web address is pressonenterprise.com. Again, that's pressonenterprise.com. And also on Facebook, you can go ahead and check me out at S Press Online on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Again, that's S as in my first initial, last name Press Online. And you can check me out there, and we'd love to stay connected with you guys. We talk to you soon, and remember to always press your healthy button. Bye, guys.